Hello students, we will now learn how to apply Gauss theorem. Okay, now in your syllabus you have got 3 applications of Gauss theorem. The first one is to calculate electric field intensity due to an infinitely long line charge. The second one is to find an expression for electric field intensity due to infinite plane sheet of charge, and the third one will be expression for electric field due to a hollow spherical shell. Let's begin with the first application. We will calculate electric field intensity due to an infinitely long line charge. Let's take a thin rod which acts as a line charge, the carrier of line charge. Let's say it has got some charge distributed on it, and since it is infinite, the length is from infinity to infinity. Now, can we tell how much charge is contained on this line? No, because it is an infinitely long charge. We cannot tell the total amount of charge, but we can talk about something called linear charge density, which is denoted by the letter lambda, which is nothing but charge per unit length. So we can talk about Q by L here. If not the total charge, we can talk about the linear charge density. Let's proceed to find an expression for electric field intensity due to this infinitely long line charge. To do so, since we are applying Gauss theorem here, we will need a closed surface which is commonly called Gaussian surface. So here, looking at the charge distribution, you can draw a Gaussian surface, imaginary Gaussian surface, which will be symmetrical and whose area can be easily calculated. In this case, we can take a cylinder as the Gaussian surface. You can take any shape of your choice. So here, for convenience, we are taking a cylinder whose radius is equal to r. Say we are calculating electric field intensity at a point P at a distance r from this charge distribution. Let the length of this cylinder, that is the Gaussian surface we are taking, be L. First, before we apply Gauss theorem, let us calculate the net electric flux of the cylinder, which is given by the formula phi for the cylinder. Let's put a suffix cylinder here, will be equal to integral E dot dA, where dA is the area vector. Let's say we have a small area vector whose direction, as you know, it is a closed surface, will be always away from the closed surface. So here we have dA, and the electric field intensity at this point, the direction here also will be in the same direction. So if you look at the direction between the angle between E and dA, it will be equal to 0 degree in this case. And this is one surface. Say we take it as curved surface. No, we have two more surfaces here. One is the top surface. I'll write it as top here, and here I write it as bottom, because we need to look at the entire surface area of this right circular cylinder. Now we need to consider the electric flux due to this top surface as well as the bottom surface, in addition to the electric flux due to the curved surface. Now the total electric flux will be, because of the top surface, E dot dA, plus it is also because of the bottom surface, since we are taking the entire cylinder into consideration, E dot dA, plus, and the other surface that is remaining is curved surface, E dot dA. Now in each case, let us find the angle between E and dA. Look at the top surface. electric field is directed this way, and if you take the area vector here, it is directed away, so the angle between the electric field and the area vector will be equal to 90 degree. So you can write it as EDA cos 90 degree. Similarly, at the bottom also electric field directed here, area vector directed downwards, so it is EDA cos 90 degree plus, now the curved surface, they are in the same direction, curved surface, it is EDA cos 0. Cos 90 comes to be 0, so the entire term will be equal to 0. So the electric flux will be only because of the curved surface, because the others, because of the other surfaces the terms are getting cancelled out because of the angle. Now the total flux will be equal to integral only for the curved surface, E dA cos 0 is 1. Now considering this to be a uniform electric field, we can take this E out of the integral sign. E, we are going to integrate only dA over the curved surface. So the total flux of the cylinder will be equal to E into integral dA of curved surface will be nothing but the total surface area of the curved surface, that is given by 2 pi r into L from the mathematical formula. So this is the total flux of the cylinder. Now we will apply Gauss law to calculate this electric field intensity which we just calculated. You know, Gauss law states that the total electric flux over a closed surface, in our case the closed surface is the cylinder, is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed by the surface. Let's apply it here. We will replace this expression here because we are concerned about the electric field here. So instead of phi, we will write E into 2 pi r L is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times, now Q. What is the total charge enclosed by the surface? We will go back to our linear charge density term. Lambda is equal to Q by L. From here, Q will be equal to lambda into L. Let's replace it here. E 2 pi r L will be equal to Q 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge is lambda into L. We could cancel L. So E will be equal to 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught lambda divided by R. This is the electric field intensity due to an infinitely long line charge which we have just calculated using Gauss theorem. And you can see that electric field intensity is inversely proportional to R, where R is the distance of the point where we are calculating electric field intensity from the line charge.